All right, let's talk about some of the stuff coming to 4.8 here. Mr. Bolt, Mr. Benoit, Mr. Bougejour. He has made another post with another experimental release coming in 4.8, this time for things like the butt kicker. Haptic feedback systems that shake your seat and move your controls so you can feel the ship actually moving underneath you. Kind of crazy to think because I did not think we were anywhere near this, but he has talked about this in the past. In fact, we could probably go find him in that Star Citizen Live where he was just like gushing about the ability to control ships and do this kind of stuff. All right, here's him talking about the subject.
So there are SimPits in the office. There's SimPits in just about every office at this point, aren't there?
Yes.
Yeah. And Benoit is as if he didn't have enough to do. It's his little pet project. He's intricately involved in them. It's every time I come by and he's at a SimPit, I'm like, you have more important things to do. He's like, and it's always like, somebody change my bindings. Sorry, Pete. I needed the emphasis on it. It's just the number of times I've walked past this man who it's just like, so yes.
I mean, it's because Yogi and I always are fighting against what the best binding is. You know, mine is clearly better, but you know. So we've decided that at some point we'll just fix the binding system so that we don't.
In the game, there's going to be binding presets that are just named after the developers.
Just load the one you want.
And you had a second one.
So my second one for inside the game is that.
Oh, sorry, I skipped to the actually important part.
Redo it every patch.
Yeah, devices, you know.
All right, here we go.
Managing bindings is literally the worst. And so that's my pet peeve. If there was one thing that I could do for my own game experience, like other than like the in-game elements, it would be completely control bindings. You know, currently we rely on device order for some things, and so like literally you need to have like a kind of almost a common order for the devices on your machine. Sharing these profiles is very difficult. Being able to bind onto multiple devices, to really benefit from that. Being able to bind on multiple, like the same action on multiple devices, for me is super key, right? So that would be my absolute personal thing, quality of life to solve, would be device handling in general.
And you're announcing you've created a hero strike team for this.
No, I wish I could just do that. But
so he goes on to talk about how he wants to get an API going so that devices can connect back to the game and communicate back and forth, and we can start receiving information to create haptic feedback. And this seems to already be getting on the way there. So here's his announcement. Hi everyone, I am excited to announce support for D-Box haptic systems in the Star Citizen game client starting from tonight's 4.8 PTU. Now, this is a different company. They make their own stuff, Haptics. This is kind of like how they did it with Toby. There are plenty of different solutions for eye tracking, but their first go at it... actually, no. We could go all the way back to like FaceWare with the face tracking. The first applications they did were kind of built by a specific company. So they, I guess, partnered with a company and figured out how to get that technology working with the game. So the first that looks like they're working with here is D-Box. I've never heard of them. This is the first I'm actually seeing of any branding that they've ever made, but it looks like they do sim racing stuff. Who would have thought? So, let's see what this actually includes. It said a group of passionate developers at CIG got together to build our very first integration with the D-Box SDK and enable support for their haptic systems. This is the first in what will be a series of updates to our motion telemetry support, and for the first time, it is considered experimental, for the time being, sorry. Star Citizen is a game built around the fantasy of being in a cockpit, and we want the physical experience to match what's on the screen or headset. We know our players have been building incredible customs cockpits and sim rigs for every shape and size, from compact desk rigs, spherical displays, and custom physical cockpits all the way to a literal bus. We want the game to be able to leverage that hardware to bring you the next level of immersion. I just rebuilt my own desk. It's not a cockpit in any way whatsoever. It's just kind of cleaner, and it lets me do more things. Working on a video to show what I did with it, but I want to keep adding stuff to this. This stuff's pretty cool, man. And if you play Star Citizen a lot, why not make the experience a little more immersive? But I do want to see one or two of these cockpits. Let's see what kind of stuff people are making here. So I've definitely seen Parrots before, Parrot Gaming. God dang it.
It has been over a year from my previous Star Citizen cockpit tour, and with some major changes, like the big curved screen here, I think it's time for another one. As is.
Just
Instead,
ridiculous, dude. Is this okay? So this is the spherical
work
stream
with
you're talking
software
about.
called Immersive Display Pro. It's naturally not as sharp as you would get with big 4K displays, but I like the immersion of this option. And
That's wild, man. I like.
setup.
Oh my god.
I think this covers.
That's nuts because this is the size of screen you'd normally be playing on. Someday. So I'm not going to ever do that, but someday I'm going to do something maybe slightly kind of like that. Hey, let's take a look at Fairsters.
This is one of these things. I sent over this whole kit free of charge, which is pretty incredible.
See, like this is the kind of thing I want to build, like something that's got a couple of interesting bits that can hold up, you know, my controls and keep it immersive, and maybe a butt kicker in there or something.
Just look
A whole
at this
room
thing.
though. Yeah, that is really nice. The pedals are a nice touch. So you can go all kinds of different levels of SimPit when it comes to building for these kinds of things. And I know people already do this for plenty of racing games.
There are many SimPits out there, but this one is mine. Built from scratch.
I actually want to start a series
omnidirectional throttle.
that looks at this, that like just has people send
Pushing
in
the
their
delta to
videos
the
of
right
how they
moves the
build.
ship to the right, and pushing the stick to the left moves the ship to the left.
Because there are a lot of creative
That
builds.
can be combined with a mouse.
Dang, dude, this looks like a literal front dash on a
Control
plane.
method.
Not that I would know what that looks like.
games.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
Below the control panel, you will find a very sophisticated TVs costing a total of $4,400 and a custom-made PC worth $6,500. Large amount of money just sitting around doing nothing.
Made it
So
look
he
like a
decided to spend it
star
creating
lifter.
a gaming room in the form of a spaceship, based around his favorite ship in Star Citizen, the Crusader Hercules.
Bro, and the Hercules is just old now. Who's gonna be the first one to make an ironclad cockpit? So, what is a haptic platform? A haptic system is built from motion actuators, which are motor-driven units that mount under your seat or desk. Each actuator can produce two types of output: physical motion and haptic rumble, which can range from subtle fine vibrations you barely notice to heavy vibrations that move the entire rig. What's supposed to be in this release? We focus this first pass entirely on the cockpit experience. Everything integrated so far is tuned for space and atmospheric flight. Ship engine rumble, directional G-forces, directional hits, guessing from guns, missile launches, countermeasures, landing gear movement. Dude, that's crazy. Landing gear movement. Weapon and gun recoil, boost and afterburner, impacts and explosions. What can you expect from this? The goal of this integration is to make piloting feel more visceral, especially in combat. You'll feel your ship's engine rumble scale with its size, so a Pisces hums while a Hammerhead growls through your seat. Hitting afterburner or boost gives you a real kickback. I wonder if you're going to also feel all the haptic feedback of your ship glitching into walls and ripping itself apart in the middle of the freight elevator. It's like, are we going to be factoring all the glitches into these reactions? Firing weapons produces recoil that matches the output, and launching missiles or popping countermeasures each have their own reaction. When something hits your ship, the impact is directional and attenuated based on whether your shields absorbed it or it punched through your hull. To your hull. A glancing hit against full shields feels very different from a torpedo connecting with bare armor. Man, I'm guessing some of you in chat are going to be able to test this out. I cannot wait to hear how it actually translates. Beyond combat, the platform responds to the G-forces your pilot is experiencing. So hard turns, acceleration, and deceleration all translate to physical movement in your seat. Deploying and retracting landing gear has its own tactile signature, and switching into decouple mode gives you a distinct engagement feel. So you know the moment you're... Dude, okay, actually this could actually be incredibly useful for information. When it all comes down, when it all comes together, your body starts reacting before your brain does. That's when you know the immersion is working. One of my worst problems with the game, with flying, one of the reasons I don't like flying, is because I find it really hard to understand how I'm moving. I know they give us a velocity indicator, there's space dust, there's all these things, there's all these reasons why I should be better. Too bad I'm not. This though, if I can actually feel the movement in my body, I feel like that would be a way better way to understand what's going on around me. So it looks like install the motion code for Star Citizen. It will automatically detect the haptic system and start processing telemetry. The platform should initialize its up-down cycle. That's it. That's pretty simple. So it looks like you need to use the debug software, of course. What is next, though, is pretty interesting. This is still an experimental release, and our first pass at motion telemetry. Our objective is to give another major system in the game a haptic expression. Flight, combat, traversal, all of it. We're treating this as a living integration that grows with the game. Next up is FPS and EVA coverage. Gunfire, grenades, footsteps, sprinting, jumping, EVA push, and boost. We're also experimenting with feeding CIG audio signals directly as data inputs, which would let us cover things like large sonic impacts automatically without requiring custom event hookups for each one. Beyond motion, we're also working to expand our telemetry data output to support other channels and integrations. We'll have more news on this front as we get closer to 4.9. How to contribute for you. If you have the material and want to contribute, please use the haptics tag category on the IC for reports. Finally, a personal note. Building sim rigs is a huge hobby of mine, so this one hit close to home. I've built a few rigs across CIG offices over the years, and there's a moment that never gets old. Watching someone sit down, take off from a landing pad, and realize they can feel the ship. Their whole expression changes. That moment when the game stops being something on a screen and becomes something around you is honestly one of the most satisfying things I've gotten to be a part of. Add a VR headset, and oh my gosh, he says. Yeah, I mean, they're building a showcase for sure. If Star Citizen does not work out as a game, at the very least, this is going to be one of the most impressive tech showcases. While I'm only the messenger, he says. Big thanks to all at CIG who supported us at CIG. Special 07 Yogi Klatt. Yogi is often involved in very passionate projects at CIG. He is an engine for progress. I really hope this first step into motion telemetry lands well with those of you who have the hardware. This is just the beginning, and we're excited to keep building on it. I still owe you all a desync deep dive post. It's coming, I swear. We don't forget. I've already seen it in chat today. Thank you for addressing that, because yeah, he got kind of roped into that, huh? I'm pretty sure he did not have any intention of doing that until Jared called him. Oh man, where was it that he called him? I don't remember when he called him, but he called him up at the end of one of these episodes and basically forced him into giving us like a personalized answer on the forums about why desync is so bad. Benoit still hasn't gotten to do it. How much does one of these things cost? That's what I want to know. If I do want to get my booty kicked into gear when I'm doing my boosting around these cool asteroids I am totally not running into, how much is it going to cost me? Be immersed by our G5. Yes, get me with the G5. I hate it when there's this much navigation to find a price. If you have to click this many buttons to buy something, that means it's too expensive for someone like me. That's how I know. This is like, hey, you gonna finance it? Oh, there it is. That's good. That's a whole sim rig though, so that makes sense. I just want to see how much the specific things we're looking at are. Here we go. Okay. Oh, all right. Cool. I just got to give up my Odin. Wow. So this is more expensive than that entire SimPit we just looked at, huh? Dude, the world of racing. Oh, is this plus the rig? Does this come with? No, you'd have to also build the rig in addition to this. Dude, we're out here talking about Star Citizen ships being expensive. This is a hobby that I'm realizing now I've only like poked the surface of the puddle of SimPit building. This is crazy. I mean, I didn't have to go very far to find a single piece of a SimPit that's $8,000. Anybody here spent more than like 30K on a SimPit? I'm just curious. Because it doesn't seem like it would be hard to get that high. And honestly, when you look at this sort of perspective and how much money these things cost to experience this stuff, it's really not that surprising that people spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on spaceships. I mean, if you spent $20,000 bucks on a SimPit, you're gonna go and spend a couple $1,000s on something else to enjoy it, right? That's pretty wild, dude. I feel like this almost goes beyond what a lot of people think of when they're thinking of these games. This is trying to build an experience that you just get to sit in and enjoy, as opposed to like, oh, I gotta grind and unlock ships and stuff. I mean, this could obviously make that experience better, but just a different way of gaming. Anyways, it's cool that they're adding support for this. It seems like it's going to be incredibly niche, just like the VR. So I'm sure we're going to see people getting kind of angry that they're spending time on this. But the experience of Star Citizen is a big part of why it sells. FOMO and immersion, two biggest things that Star Citizen is good at. Hopefully this tech becomes more accessible, I guess, to everyone else over time. But I'll keep you updated on it if there's any more updates on it.